Okay, good morning, everyone. Call court to order. Today is Tuesday, September the 15th, 2020. It's 9 a.m. Proof of posting, please.
The agenda was posted on Wednesday, September 9th, 2020 at 2:30 p.m. and a supplemental agenda was posted on Friday, September 11th, 2020 at 3:30 p.m.
Okay, thank you. All right, this time, let's stand briefly for a moment of silence, and then we'll have the pledge to the flags. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pledge to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas,
one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Okay, there is a proclamation on the supplemental agenda. And I think that is sponsored by Commissioner Miller.
Yes, there's no one in court to receive it. If you want to at this time, I can make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve it, and we'll get it to the parties
Okay,
that request.
all right.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? No discussion. Call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Okay, pass. I'd like to hold the consent agenda for a moment and go to item E10A on the tax resale deed, and then also under H2, H20, page 11, the contract with Limebarger, Grogan, Blair, and Sampson. On the tax resale, there is an item that, let's see, let me find it. Okay, this is under authorization of tax resale deed and deletion of uncollected district court cost, if any. Under E1 or E10A, it's a certain tract of land situated in the T.H. Barron number 2 survey, McLennan County. This property was foreclosed on. The sale was held on August the 4th of 20. No bid was received. It currently is on the no tax roll. Since the date, 2 bids for the property have been received. One on August the 28th of 20, a bid was received totaling $40,342.99. from Mad-Eye Interest LLC, care of John Hawthorne. And then later, on August the 31st of 20, a bid was received totaling $43,000 from PI 224 LLC. Now, my question would be, Charles, if you want to come here, have a seat in front of that microphone right there.
Of course, Your Honor.
We have Charles Brady here, and good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
So we're doing this according to what's allowed. In other words, nothing happened on the bid day, but then subsequent to that, there was 2 bids received, and so it just need court action to accept one of those bids.
Correct, Your Honor. There are 2 bids that have been received on the property, and because we're your lawyers, we don't have the opportunity or even the ability to reject or accept either bid.
Okay.
So it'd be the responsibility of the Commissioners Court and the judge today decide which one of those bids you want, and then we'll handle it from there and do the paperwork from there.
Okay.
Both are sufficient to pay off everything, taxes, court costs, everything.
Right.
But one's higher than the other one.
Right, and so, obviously, we would obviously take the highest bid unless there's some reason why, we shouldn't. But-
None that I can think of, Your Honor.
Okay. All right,
I only have one question. I
Okay.
looked this up. Is Mr. Hawthorne a neighbor of this property? Do we know?
No, sir. No, Commissioner, he's not.
Okay.
okay, what's the pleasure of the court?
I'd make a motion that we accept the bid that was tendered on 8/31 of '20 for $43,000 from Pi 224 LLC.
Is there a
Second.
second? Okay, we have a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. Call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Okay, on H20 is authorization agreement for tax collection service with Linebarger, Grogan, Blair, and Sampson LLP. And as I mentioned, we have Charles Brady here in the court. So if you would like to address the court, and then we will talk about the contract.
It's been a pleasure working with y'all, obviously, over all of these years. We've enjoyed a very fruitful relationship. This contract is not only for tax collection services, but we also provide IT services as well as hardware services for your tax office. That's included in this contract. The traditional term in previous years has always been a 5-year term, and that's what we're proposing here today. Really just appreciate your business, and we appreciate the opportunity to work your account. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Okay, are there any questions?
Just a comment, I do know that the tax office appreciates the relationship. Randy's very complimentary of you guys' ability to work together, so thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All right, any other comments? Okay, in regards to Linebarger has provided a specific action that the court needs to take for this agenda item. So is there a motion to approve this contract?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye,
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
pass. Well, thank you so much for coming today, and anything we can do to help you out, let us know.
We're very blessed to be working the account. Thank y'all so much. May I be
Okay.
excused, Your Honor?
Yes.
All right.
Take care. Okay, I'd like to move, is Galen Price, or Dustin, are you available to talk about the next item on N3?
Yes, sir. Let me jump down to it, Judge.
Pardon me?
As I'm jumping down to it.
Okay.
All right, back in April, the court approved the agreement with the city of Waco for administration of the Small Business Recovery Program. That's where both the city and county provided WIMDAC funds that matched some funds the city had received, some HUD funds. And so Galen Price and Renisha are both on the call this morning. So with that, I'll turn it over to Galen to give the court an update.
Good morning, Galen.
Good morning, Judge Felton and honorable commissioners. I'm here today to provide you with an update regarding the Small Business Recovery Program. Let's see. Okay, the Small Business Recovery Fund Program is a unique program that was never done before here in Waco and McLennan County. This collaborative effort came together in about 2 weeks with the help of leaders such as yourselves who identified a pressing need and developed a plan to ensure that business owners would have a resource to reduce the effects of the pandemic on them financially. In this presentation, we will discuss the purpose and overview of the program, discuss where the program is today, including a snapshot and who we've helped, along with the program procedures and challenges faced and what we are doing to overcome said challenges. We will wrap up with a discussion about the outcomes. Early on in the response to the COVID-19 pandemic, a need was identified that businesses would need assistance to help offset some of their losses and the potential loss of jobs. This led to the creation of the Small Business Recovery Fund, which is a grant that provides assistance up to $5,000 to small businesses impacted by COVID-19. The goal is to assist with the creation and retention of jobs and to help businesses maintain a revenue stream for operations. The Small Business Recovery Fund, or SBRF, was funded through a partnership between the city and the county, totaling $830,000. Funding was provided through the Waco-McLennan County Economic Development Corporation by the county and by the city of Waco through its Community Development Block Grant CARES Act funds. The funds have been used to assist businesses in a variety of ways during this time. The most prominent requests for funding included funds for rent and mortgage payments for the business location and payroll. Other requests included funds for utilities and supplies to help businesses adapt to serving customers in new ways. Here you'll see a program snapshot of what has been accomplished to date. We have awarded assistance to a total of 208 businesses, with 155 of those being either minority and or women-owned businesses. 44 of those businesses who received funding are outside of the Waco city limits, including businesses in Crawford, McGregor, and Riesel. In working through the process, we wanted to ensure that we would maximize the opportunity for businesses to participate in receiving this assistance. The process was designed to maintain a level of consistency in the review of applicants across both funding sources. A team was formed to assist with the application process, and a funding committee comprised of different leaders within the community was established to review and approve recommendations brought forward by the staff team. This slide shows a breakdown of the funds expended to date. Because of the regulatory requirements associated with the CDBG funding, it resulted in a deeper level of guidance needed for those businesses who received assistance from this particular source. This has resulted in a slower expenditure of this funding source in comparison to the WebMec funding provided. We did have some grants decline assistance for reasons such as there was no longer a need expressed by the business due to the business reopening, and some businesses did not want to comply with the terms of the grant agreement. Here I've included a map that kind of shows exactly where all the businesses that were assisted are located. A program of this type and complexity may present some challenges for applicants in the process of applying. As we began the process, we identified some challenges that applicants faced and then worked to provide solutions to those challenges. Those included providing a video to assist with navigating the program, sites for individuals to drop off necessary documents needed to process the applications, as well as examples of how to complete the necessary forms. The ability to address these challenges identified has resulted in positive outcomes for participants in the program. To date, the program has resulted in 200 businesses that have remained open. The program has also resulted in 541 jobs being retained to date. This program has been a vital key to the sustainability of our local economy. Small businesses are consumers as well, as they purchase goods and services that are needed to operate their businesses and reinvest those dollars earned into the local community. And with that, I'll answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, any questions anyone would have?
Could he provide us a list of those businesses?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
The balance that still remains in those funds, are there any plans for those revenues?
We are looking at different options for the remaining funds. It may include potentially reopening the portal, or we may revisit other alternatives for the funding remaining.
I think,
As we're heading into the fall, do you see or have you heard from any of the business owners here locally that there would be a need to reopen it, or do we need to make preparation for maybe another hard hit as we move into the winter months?
Yes, ma'am. We are looking at that and trying to project out to see. We haven't heard at this point in time from any business owners. However, we do anticipate there may be an additional need. So we are not necessarily going to immediately reprogram these funds. We're going to wait and evaluate, and we're trying to we're looking at, like I said, different options as far as the remaining funds, which may include another round of assistance, potentially to businesses that have already been helped that may express a need later on in needing additional assistance.
Okay, so we don't have any businesses that haven't been finalized or disposed of. When I mean disposed, that their application has been taken care of, funding or not funding, with an explanation. So we don't have any pending businesses out there still seeking any kind of resolution under this funding cycle.
We are still evaluating some of the proposals that we have. We do still have some proposals that are being evaluated. One of the criteria that we looked at is based on a funding need. So we looked the priority, of course, were businesses that we had a ranking scale from 1 through 5 based on the industry. Obviously, personal services were the primary recipient, based on the fact that they were essentially closed the longest, And those are, the majority of those are sole proprietors, which we're talking about your nail techs, your barbers, your beauticians, those individuals. Then, of course, the next one would be the food service industry. And so we've worked with them actually to try to develop ways to alternative, such as curbside delivery, online ability to take orders online. So those are things that we're consistently working with businesses for, which may be something that they may come with a funding need for those types of activities again in the future.
Commissioner Miller, one thing, and Galen touched on it, and we've been in contact with Senator Cornyn and Congressman Flores' office. The next round, if it comes, it has to be approved in DC, could be more direct funding to the communities than this past one we had. So, you know, we're hoping that there is additional funding that could be utilized in our community going forward. So keeping this program in place with all the, you know, all its structure the way it is right now would be beneficial to be able to place those dollars quickly back into the community. Are there any questions, any other questions for Galen or Dustin? Dustin serves on that. Dustin, did you have anything?
I just wanted to say I'm thankful to have been the county representative to serve on it, and just thank Galen and Raynisha and their team. They did a lot of work getting those applications together for the committee to review, and they did an outstanding job with it.
Right, and Deidre Emerson as well contributed a lot of effort into that, and we really appreciate those efforts by City of Waco and its staff to be able to do that. So, okay, well, Galen, thank you very much. And if there's anything that we need to do to help you, well, please let us know. Are there any other questions before Galen signs off? All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Judge Felton and Commissioners.
Okay. And I don't think there's any necessary action there. That's a report, is Dustin?
That's right. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, I'd like to go now. Is John Gamble available?
Judge, he is, he's on mute, but he is signed in. There he is.
Oh, can I call y'all back right quick?
Okay, John.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good, how are y'all?
Fine. I'd like to go to item N12. This N12 is a discussion or action regarding the use of a Waco Convention Center for screening and paneling jurors in related matters. So, John, if you would, kind of brief the court on what you're trying to accomplish with the judges and working with the Office of Court Administration.
Sure, so we're anticipating either tomorrow or the end of this week getting a new updated or revised Supreme Court operating environment for jury trials. The signaling that we've got both from Chief Justice Hecht and their key person at the OCA, David Slayton, is that this will allow felony courts and potentially eventually other courts as well, our county courts at law, to resume jury trials effective sometime in October. The plan that Judge Johnson and Judge Strother and I and the other district judges have kind of been working on to resume this is in process. We can't finalize that plan until we actually get the order out from the Supreme Court because we don't have all the details yet. But essentially, we're going to have to provide an environment that, from what they have told us, that includes social distancing, face shields and or masks. We've been buying supplies to have that ready for when the order becomes effective. The proposal with the convention center is to use them for the voir dire process and initial selection. So our goal is to minimize the bunching of people together just to reduce the risk of, cross-pollination with viruses or other diseases. So to enable that, we're looking at doing our Monday screening and voir dire for the 2 felony courts over at the convention center. Probably the first 2 weeks that we do this, we're just going to do 1 felony trial, one in the 19th 1 week, one in the 54th the next week. From what we're getting from our courthouse security and the sheriff's office, good advice that we need to walk before we run. So before we reboot all of our courts, we're going to have some pilot trials, so to speak. So we've got that in process as far as kind of getting the gears together and getting everybody to work together. This contract would give us a daily rate, or really it's a weekly rate, but potentially at the most for bringing in the jurors on a Monday, and then we would deal with them separately for the actual trials. We would be able to host 1 felony trial in the visiting courtroom. We do that the first 2 weeks. I've got a contract that's almost ready for y'all to review. And this sounds a little fancy for us, but it's with Diamondbacks, and it's actually the most reasonable contract that we've gotten, because out of that price for the rental, we would be able to pay for the catered meals that we're now required to have for the jurors to limit their contact with the public and bring them in and out as much as possible. So every dollar we spend on providing their meals, which we're going to have to do for anyways, would come out of the rental for Diamondbacks for their catering hall next to the main restaurant. So that would probably phase in, I'm guessing the first week in November, because we're looking at the last 2 weeks of October to have those 2 pilot trials, just from the mechanics of getting the jury summons out and giving them timely notification for a potential trial. So hopefully I'll have that contract proposal to get to the county judge and to the commissioner's court a little later this week, and we'll have that order out hopefully by the end of the week, so we can have our jury summons start to go out and move forward. So is that kind of what you're looking for, Judge Felton?
Yes, and do we have the contract format with the convention center?
I haven't gotten a copy of that yet. They have a committee set up above the convention center and below city council that includes, I believe, the city attorney, the health department, and several other entities. That is kind of where I wouldn't say we're stuck, but we're waiting on their approval at this point. As soon as they get that back to us, I can then submit that to y'all for approval and review.
All right. Okay, any questions anyone have? So there's really no, it says an action item, but I don't, without
I think we had a budget amendment. I don't know if you're doing that separately or not, to cover one of the items that we're looking at is this is probably going to be our operating environment for at least 6 months, if not 9 months.
Okay.
And we'll need some sound systems. Talking with the various people that provide those in town, if you're renting for more than 5 weeks, it's cheaper to buy. And so I'm getting specs on some, I have a fair amount of experience with sound systems, so I'm just getting quotes from a couple of local vendors to get us some simple sound systems for the voir dire, and then an audio video routing system for the second felony court once we bring that online.
And then you've got a fund that would be utilized for some of these expenses.
I was hoping we could pull that out of the jury fund, the budget amendment. Basically, we didn't have jury trials for almost half the year. And so there's several $100,000 of unused jury pay money. And hopefully I can get that through the budget process and paid for before the end of this fiscal year, this month, just to kind of use up some of those funds that are sitting there that'll eventually just go to the fund balance.
And Judge, that's on the supplemental under C1A.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, so that was no action on the past discussion, but under C1A is the jury service. This is a line item transfer of $40,000 for the purchase of sound equipment and supplies for the courts. This is coming out of the contingency. Excuse me.
I think
No,
that,
I'm sorry.
Judge,
It's coming out of
the jury pay.
yeah,
line item.
it comes out of the furniture and equipment budget, 35,000 of it, and 5 of it comes out of supplies, and it goes to the Pettit Jury Fund.
So I have a comment on that. So
Okay.
like you said, the jury service department is a department within the general fund, and the request is to increase that supplies line item and the furniture and equipment line item for his, the needed items that he spoke of. And then, like you said, we're moving from that Pettit jurors line because we have not spent a lot out of there this year. There's sufficient budget there to move within that department into those lines.
Okay. All right. Okay, is there a motion to approve that line item transfer?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank y'all.
All right. I'd like to go to item F1J. Is Chip available?
I am, sir.
Good morning, Chip.
Morning.
F1J is Community Supervision and Corrections Department recording of proposed FY20 budget amendments.
Yes, sir. We have to put our end of the year budget amendments through Commissioners Court for recording purposes in order to satisfy the language listed in the code. Basically what these budget amendments are to close out fiscal year 2020. Our fiscal year ended on 8/31. The main reason for these adjustments was to account for the decreased revenue due to the sharp decrease in population that we had this fiscal year due to the courts not being up. As I explained before, approximately half of our budget comes from fees that are paid by the people who are on probation. And the fact that we had that sharp decrease in our population meant that we had to account for a decrease in revenue. So that was the main reason we did these amendments. And the second reason was to make sure that all of the formula funding that we receive is utilized to its fullest extent and put out to those specialized programs that are not fully funded.
Okay. Okay, are there any questions for Chip? Okay. Not, is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. One more jumping around to do. Go to N6. And Kathy Van Wolf.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kathy. How are you today?
I'm good. This is the notice of election for the joint general election, and it lists the early voting dates, times, and locations, as well as the election day locations and all of the contracting entities issues on the ballot, and I need that approved. This will be posted on our website as well as all the other contracting entities' websites, and it will also be run in the Waco Trib prior to the early voting starting.
Okay. Are there any questions for Kathy? Okay, if not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Smell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. One
Thank
more.
you.
Thank you. One more jumping around on H8. This is Chris Collins on? Justin, you may need to go over it if Chris is not available.
All right, Judge, I saw her name. Yeah, she is on.
I see her now, yeah.
Judge, I can start and then Chris can chime in where needed if that's okay.
I see her, okay.
Okay.
Good
All
morning,
right,
Chris.
Chris, you want to take it or you want me to?
You can kick off, Dustin.
Okay, so this is an agreement to our interlocal agreement with the City of Waco for economic development. It changes wording in section 2.1, and I will just read how it will now read. For any expenditure by the WIMDEC for a program project, the business employer must create and or retain in McLennan County, Texas, full-time jobs in a number determined sufficient by the WIMDEC Board of Directors, the city, and the county in consideration of the value of the incentives to be provided, paying the equivalent of at least $15 per hour. The average hourly wage for all jobs shall be no less than $17.50 per hour.
I think this is kind of where the court was suggesting that we go in a discussion with all the parties, City of Waco, WebMac Board, and all. This was a good way for us to start moving those minimum dollar per hour wages up. Are there any questions anyone would have?
I don't necessarily think it's a question as much as a statement. In reading and hearing Dustin and understanding what you're saying, so the minimum per hour rate is $15. And I see where the number determined as far as the number of full-time jobs will be based on, I guess, how much that award would be considered. Is there a minimum, though, number that the committee thought of as far as per company requirement? Like a minimum number of jobs they must create, even though they're creating that job at $15 an hour. Was that a discussion?
That was not part of the discussion. I think the idea is to keep the fund as flexible as possible so that it's available to smaller businesses as well as to large companies. And so if a smaller business is 10 jobs may be a very significant thing for a smaller business that's making a large investment. And so we wanted to make that as flexible as possible, so long as they're meeting the guidelines of the program. What will determine the per job amount will be the return on investment that comes out of our economic impact analysis. So with every project, before we take it to the corporation for consideration, we run that analysis to make sure that the recommendation that is put before the board is providing a strong return on investment for both the city and the county.
Okay. So when you say the average hourly wage for all jobs shall be no less than $17.50 per hour, exactly what are we saying on that?
So what we're saying with that is that in order to qualify for funding, the only jobs that pay at least $15 an hour will qualify, but that the overall average wage of the site needs to be at least $17.50 an hour. So the idea is that it's spread across, but that you have jobs that are also well above $15 an hour. That's part of the equation.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, Is there a motion to approve this amendment?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Thank you. Okay, going back to the consent agenda, we had one recommended pull, which we've already dealt with, which is E10 on the tax resale deed. Is there any other recommended pulls on the consent agenda items? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of a previously approved item 10A?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Thank you. Under item F, under budget amendments, transfers, and changes, regarding the FY '20 budget, Francis?
Sure, so I'll cover the budget amendments for fiscal year 20, starting with F1A. F1A is a budget amendment in the general fund for Road and Bridge Precinct 4. The request is to increase various line items and move from other line items within that department in order to purchase tire machines, chainsaws, and then other expenditures related to low water crossing and bridge repairs. F1B is in the general fund for the County Court at Law 1 department. The request is to move within that department into repair and maintenance for an additional amount needed for their annual copier maintenance contract. F1C, this is in the Law Library Fund. The request is to move into the general legal reference materials line item from the contingencies line item within that fund. F1D, this is in the general fund, and this is the adult probation department, and they were requesting to move within their department into other services and charges for the remaining cost for the year for shredding services. F1E, this is in the Permanent Improvement Fund. This is for the backup data center at Cobb's. This was originally already in the budget, but at the time, we thought it was just pretty much the equipment purchase, but we found out that it's really it leans more towards permanent improvement. So we're budgeting that in the Permanent Improvement Fund, and we are requesting to move from the contingencies line item within that fund. F1F, this is the Permanent Improvement Fund related to the 2019 bonds, and this is increasing the tower communications project for an amount needed for fencing around a concrete pad at the Road and Bridge 2 site. F1G, this is general fund for Commissioner's Court, and the request is to move from the countywide contingencies into repair and maintenance for the annual maintenance agreement with Civic Plus. In F1H, this is general fund for the county judge's department. They are requesting to move within their department into furniture and equipment for cost of renovating an area behind the county judge's office. And that concludes the budget amendments.
Okay. Any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve F1A through F1H?
So move.
Second.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under F1I, Information Technology IT Assessment Fund for purchasing, the purchasing department was assessed for a new printer to replace a shared office unit that had been experiencing some problems. So recently, the department made pre-orders for the workstation equipment needed for new staff position approved. So, however, it has become necessary for the office printer to be replaced as soon as possible, and they do not have the additional funds for this amount. The FY '20 IT assessment funds has a balance that would cover the expenditure for the printer, and the tray needed, the cost would be $1,200. What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve F1I.
Is there a second? I'll second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under F2 regarding the FY '21 budget, Francis?
So no new information on the 21 budget. Of course, we're wrapping up the month of September, so New Year starts October 1st, and the new budgets will be in place that day. I can go ahead and cover 2B, C, and D.
Okay.
You want me to go ahead and do those
Yes.
together? On F2B, this is the annual recording of the forfeiture fund budget for the county sheriff's office. So you'll see there, there's a budget there presented on a category basis, which is all that is required. And then F2C is the annual recording of the forfeiture fund budget for the district attorney's office. And then F2D, this is a listing of the cell phone allowances that currently are in place. And so this will, if you approve, we'll set these up and move them into the 2021 fiscal year.
Okay, any questions about those items? Is there a motion to approve F1A, F1B, F2, let me start over here. Under, is there a motion to approve F2B for the county sheriff, F2C for criminal district attorney, and F2D for the cell phone allowance?
Motion to approve.
Sure. Second? Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under G, under bids, RFPs, RFQs, under G1's authorization recommendation regarding bids on hot mix, coal laid asphalt, concrete, high performance asphalt. Ken?
Yes, sir. We received a number of bids on this bid 20-022. And we asked for those that were loaded in McLennan County trucks and those delivered. And so on the first response, Unique Paving Materials Corporation, on the loaded in McLennan County trucks, they bid on the high performance asphalted coal mix at $93 a ton. On the asphalted coal mix delivered, they bid $120 per ton. From Vulcan Materials, we got a bid on the CC product. They bid $40 per ton loaded in McLennan County trucks. They bid $82.63 for the CC product delivered. From Bryan and Bryan Asphalt, they bid on the asphaltic oil sand at $56 per ton, and that's loaded in McLennan County trucks for that product. They did not bid on that product delivered. For Waller County Asphalt, they bid on the CC product, loaded in, this is loaded in McLennan County trucks at amount of $75 per ton. On the D product, they bid $63 per ton. F product, they bid $75 per ton. And on the high performance asphaltic cold mix, they bid $93 a ton. On those products delivered, on the CC product, they bid $107 per ton. On the D product, they bid $95 per ton. F product, they bid $107 per ton. In the high performance asphaltic cold mix, they bid $125 per ton. From Texas Materials Group, Inc., loaded in McLennan County trucks, they bid $65 per ton on the D product, and for that product delivered, they bid $79 per ton. Big Creek Construction, loaded in McLennan County trucks, they bid on the D product at $55 per ton. On that product delivered, they bid $62 per ton. Knife River Corporation, for products delivered, loaded in McLennan County trucks, on the D product, they bid $58 per ton. On the F product, they bid $65 per ton. On the high performance asphaltic cold mix, they bid $120 per ton. In asphaltic oil sand, they bid $52 per ton. For those items delivered, on the D product, they bid $67 per ton. On the F product, $74 per ton. The high performance asphaltic cold mix, $129 per ton. And asphaltic oil sand, $61 per ton. And then Sustainable Pavement Technologies, loaded in McLennan County trucks, they bid on the asphaltic oil sand at $50 per ton, and on that item delivered, $65 per ton. After reading all that, our recommendation is as follows. We recommend that McLennan County grant the award for hot mix cold laid, asphaltic concrete, high performance asphaltic cold mix, and asphaltic oil sand for McLennan County to all vendors based on location and availability for products loaded in McLennan County trucks. Products loaded in McLennan County trucks are the type CC. The low bidder in that product is Vulcan Materials at $40 per ton. Type D, the low bidder, is Big Creek Construction at $55 per ton. Type F, low bidder, is Knife River at $65 per ton. On the high performance asphaltic cold mix, low bidder is Unique Paving Materials in Waller County Asphalt at $93 per ton. And the asphaltic oil sand low bidder is Sustainable Pavement Technologies. And I've got a note here, it's an alternate product at $50 per ton. And then on the, we recommend that McLennan County grant the award for hot mix and so forth for McLennan County to primary and secondary vendors based on availability for delivered products. We can't consider the location when it's a delivered product. The type CC, the primary vendor is Vulcan Materials at $82.63 per ton, and secondary vendor is Waller County Asphalt at $107 per ton. Type D, the primary vendor is Big Creek Construction at $62 per ton, and secondary vendor is Knife River at $67 per ton. Primary type F, primary vendor is Knife River at $74 per ton. Secondary vendor is Waller County Asphalt at $107 per ton. High performance asphaltic cold mix, primary vendor is Unique Paving Materials at $120 per ton, and secondary vendor is Waller County Asphalt at $125 per ton. Asphaltic oil sand, primary vendor is Knife River at $61 per ton, and secondary vendor is Sustainable Pavement Technologies at $65 per ton. If approved, the effective date for this bid will be October 1, 2020 through September 30th, 2021.
Okay. All right, any questions for Ken on those bids? If not, is there a motion to approve as recommended?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. I'd like to go to item G2 under RFPs, under the asbestos abatement and demolition of the old downtown jail, under G2A's action to rescind previous authorization of recommendation for the RFP. Ken?
Yes, sir. I'm a little bit sad coming to the court on this. This hasn't really happened to me before. But if the court will recall, on August 18th, we recommended and was brought to and accepted by the Commissioners Court for the asbestos abatement and demolition of the old downtown jail. The recommendation was to American Abatement for an amount of $446,660 as the best evaluated proposal. On August 28th, I received a phone call from Bernard with American Abatement that they could not attain the required performance and payment bonds to proceed forward with the work. I requested that they send me something in writing. I have that note in the packet. I am presenting the correspondence received from American Abatement. The next best response was J.R. Ramon. I rescored the evaluation proposal taking out American Abatement because of the large cost swing. It kind of skews the numbers a little bit. So I reevaluated, and J.R. Ramon had the next best score with a proposed amount of $1,019,040.80. Just a note, this is $572,380.80 higher than the response originally submitted by American Abatement. If the court wants to consider the next best response, we have checked with J.R. Ramon, and they are willing to hold their proposed amount. We respectfully present this information to the Commissioners Court for your consideration. Just one other note I didn't include in this letter. I would still like to include the $25,000 contingency for the work in the downtown jail. We had that with American Abatement, and I would like to continue forward with that $25,000 contingency if the court wishes to consider the next best response.
Okay, the first item was G2A, which is
I'm
action
sorry.
to rescind.
Rescind, yes.
Previous authorization, and I don't think we have any choice but to do that because they can't perform, and we wouldn't want them to do it without a bond, and the bonding company would not provide bonding for them, primarily because they probably missed the bid so bad, and they would lose money doing it.
Right.
So that's my assumption on it.
Yes, I'm
Any-
sorry.
Any questions on the rescinding of the previous authorization? If not, is there a motion to rescind the previous authorization?
Motion to rescind.
Is there a second? I'll second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under G2B is discussion or action regarding the RFP, including consideration of the next best response, which is J.R. Ramon, and there were other proposals that were
Yes, sir.
higher than this.
Yes, sir.
And so in your scoring system, and these can provide bond, and
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
any questions for Ken or the court on this?
I've got a question for him. I know you have a formula by which you ranked the responses. Can you give me an overview again of what those points were? Because I would have thought that the performance and payment bond, being able to acquire that was part of the ranking system. It was not?
Yes, sir. Excuse me. Yes, ma'am. We do make it clear that they have to provide a performance and payment bond, but that's after an award and before they start work. We had everything moving forward with an agreement, and it's like, that comes like 10 days after the award of a contract.
But they state
Okay,
they
so
can't.
They
that was my
state
question.
they
So,
can
Being
provide.
able to acquire a bond wasn't part of the ranking.
Well,
uh,
typically, if they
was it?
can,
I mean, it didn't attribute to their score, did it?
they just
Being
made
able
them,
to get a performance or payment bond,
Exactly.
that's not considered in their score, is it?
well, it is, but I think what he's saying is, once they offer you a bid bond, it's assumed that they'll be able to offer the payment and performance bond, so they would get credit for that because they presented a bid bond. And it's after the fact that this came about.
And it's actually a qualifying
Right.
action. So
Yes.
if they're out, if they can't get a bond, they don't qualify. So-
They can't get a bid
But
bond.
from what I understand in our discussion, Ken, that they previously said they would be able, they could meet that requirement, and they just couldn't.
Yes. We actually had a meeting with them before we came to the court for the recommendation, just to make sure. TJ and I met with them, and it was our understanding they could do this job for the amount that they proposed, and, but I guess the bonding company felt otherwise. And they do admit in the letter that they withdraw their proposal, that they made a mistake in their calculations.
A big one.
And I understand that. I just don't know how we gave them points on something that they couldn't do. I don't even know how that's calculated into the formula, since it's a score, but then ultimately it can be taken away. And I guess I'm looking at this $1 million amount from J.R. Ramon, and that's almost twice. I don't know. For me, it changes the whole look of what we're talking about as far as venturing into the demolition of the downtown jail, because the budget is already up
TJ's
by
on,
almost $600,000.
TJ's on, but
Uh-huh.
excuse me, I'm sorry,
No,
Commissioner.
go ahead.
I said TJ's on, but I've had a discussion with him, and Ken about our previous discussions in court. And I think we assumed it was gonna be $1 million plus, project, and was, surprised and actually, not only surprised, but a little bit suspicious when this other bid came in below that. And so, Ken and TJ, got with, the company to actually do a walkthrough, and because they were concerned that they underbid this thing, they made a mistake. And, but in the same way, under this J.R. Ramon is saying they can get bond. And so generally these companies don't provide the bonds until they get the job, because then they have to go to the bonding company, and Commissioner Perry used to do this. So I guess my question is to you, then they would go to the bonding company and says, I won this contract, here's the scope of it.
Yeah.
And what would you charge me to bond this thing out? And so,
Right,
I mean, a lot of the old ones have relationships with bonding companies, but some of them skip around.
Right, and so the qualifier is the bid bond, and once everyone presents a bid bond, it's presumed that they could also follow up with a payment performance bond. But what happens is the surety always requests to see the bid tabs before they'll offer a final bond. And when they see an error such as this, they have the right to withdraw the payment performance bond, which they did in this case with this company, which gets into a whole nother issue that we talked about briefly, is you can forfeit. Was a 5% bid bond, was it?
Yes, sir.
So they had to put up 5% cash of what their bid would have been, and that's in play to be forfeited because they couldn't honor the bid bond request that they had, or the bid bond that they had provided for the job.
Just clearly, what they have to provide at the time of the proposal is the bid bond, not a performance and payment bond. Like I say, that comes after the award, and they can go to the bonding company and they say that they have this contract for this amount, and they seek a bond based on the amount, the payment and performance bond, based on the amounts that they've proposed.
And then typically they want if you're awarded the job, they want you to be within 10% of the high bid. So they don't want you getting, I mean, there's a 50% discrepancy here. If it had been 10%, they would have been on board, but 50%, they're not gonna honor that.
Kind of back to this, TJ, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when we were first talking about this, when you and Ken and Zane kind of went over, you know, what we'd be doing over there, first of all, to try to get the downtown jail in a kind of a blank canvas, I guess you'd call it, that we needed to do this demolition, and that the discussion was this would be $1 million plus project.
Yeah, yes, sir. That's correct. When we first met with the initial group of contractors, just to kind of go over and do a preliminary budget, those figures had come down around $650,000, and that was just the demolition of the interior of the downtown jail. That didn't incorporate the demolition of the high five. So once we incorporated that piece of it, we knew we would be around that $1 million mark, just because of what's going to have to be done up there on that 5th floor and how all those pieces are going to fit together. So we were kind of where it was going to fall within that $1 million mark. That's why it surprised us to see this one come back in so low. And that's why we felt it was so necessary to bring the contractor down, sit down with them at a table and make sure they were aware of every facet of the project and make sure they had their numbers calculated correctly. So, you know, as much surprise to us, the bonding company wouldn't give them their bonds. Like Ben was saying, just based off the percentage over. So I think, you know, I'm not real surprised that the project's going to end up at that $1 million mark, because I think that's probably where we should have been from the get-go. So I think it looks in line to kind of what we anticipated.
Any other questions? So what's the pleasure of the court on G2B, discussion or action regarding the RFP, including consideration of the next best response, which, as Mr. Bass pointed out, was J.R. Ramon, proposed of $1,019,040.80.
I make the motion that we approve the bid as recommended by Ken Bass, our purchasing director, and the bid from J.R. Ramon for $1,019,040.80, and also with a $25,000 contingency.
Right, good.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass, thank you. Under item H, under contracts, interlocal agreements, memorandums of understanding, under H1 is authorization of service level agreement with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension for their, regarding their information technology service. So this is just a renewal of the technology service agreement with Texas A&M AgriLife. The county agrees to procure the internet services at the new Cobb's location. AgriLife will reimburse the county for half of the annual expense. Their share will be $749.88. I'm assuming that's annual.
Yes, sir, that's correct. That is what our current cost of internet is. That is their 50% portion.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
would like to note, Judge, that this year they have introduced a new format for our agreement. It's a service level agreement as opposed to the memorandum of understanding that they had offered in the past.
Okay,
And their intent was to keep it with common language to all the counties, but for all purposes, the service does not change. None of the details change
Okay.
for us.
all right, thank you. Any questions for Lisa? If not, is there a motion to approve this agreement?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under H2 is authorization agreement with RM Mays LLC, Health Benefits Plan Manager. Dustin?
Yes, sir. Judge, this agreement with Rosemary is under our Health Benefits Plan Manager Services, and we added some additional duties to that last year. It is up for renewal on September 30th, 2020, so we wanted to bring it with court to see how the court wanted to move forward.
Okay, I know Amanda, our HR, had some interest in having Rosemary to help with the what do we call it, the annual
Open enrollment.
open enrollment, thank you. And that would go through December 31st. Any thoughts on that, or Amanda available, or?
She not on?
I don't think so.
I would be comfortable with extending it to 12/31. Any other thoughts?
Any other thoughts about that?
Just do a 90-day extension.
Okay.
This is Amanda. I don't know why I unmuted, but for some reason I wasn't unmuted on the system. I was talking. I apologize. So yes, it would behoove us to have some additional support and help while we make the transition with all these new benefit providers and work to transition to an online enrollment system. Yes, the court was very obliging and supportive in offering us an additional position to assist the office. We have extended an offer for that position. The person will start on October 1st, but obviously with any new person joining the team, there's a bit of transition time for them to get acclimated and up to speed with our processes and with all the transitions going on. Rosemary's been involved in all of those calls that we began, I believe, in early August. So it would be helpful to have Rosemary complete the process of that transition with us post-enrollment, which would likely be at the time of the end of the calendar year.
Okay, is that a motion?
I'll make a motion that we extend the contract with RM Mays through 12/31 of 2020.
Is there a
Second.
second? There's a motion
Second.
made and second. Any other discussion? Rosemary, are you on? Did you have any comment? Would that be amenable to you?
Yes, I'm here, Judge, and I would enjoy the pleasure of being able to help onboard all the new plans as well as the new open enrollment system to benefit the court and HR.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Thank you. Thank you, Rosemary.
Welcome.
Okay, going to item H2 is reauthorization of, H3 is our authorization agreement related to estimates on the Amazon Web Service. It's the cloud backup storage for IT. Okay, I got a note here to pull with no action. Under H4 is authorization of local agreement with the Heart Texas Council of Governments. We're going to defer this. There's a lot, we just got a lot of this information in the last day and hours, and so there's a lot more to this. Yes.
Sorry, that one, this is with Hot Cog. You're thinking of the
Oh, I'm sorry, I was thinking of MHMR, this is Hot Cog. All right, H4 is authorization of local agreement with Heart of Texas Council of Governments. This is under the, for the Everbridge or the emergency notification. This is our annual contract with Hot Cog on this. You know, when weather conditions and things like that, emergencies in the community happen, this is a system that notifies the public. And Hot Cog runs that not only for McLennan County, but for all of the counties within the Heart of Texas Council of Government region, which is 6 counties.
And Judge, there's no cost to the county. Hot Cog uses state homeland security program grant funds to cover this expense.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
A motion been made, second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. Call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell. Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Judge Felton.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Okay, back on MHMR. I'd like to, under H5, I'd like to recommend that we defer H5A, H5B, H5C, and H5D. And then at that, we will have them here on the 29th to make a full presentation. I'd like to have Major Armstrong involved in that. He works hand in hand with MHMR on several programs that we're contracted with MHMR with at the jail. And so the other thing is MHMR under Mr. Thompson, Daniel Thompson's leadership is looking at new ways to expand and provide more services within the community, and he'd have the opportunity to present that to the court. So is there a motion to defer?
Motion to defer?
Is there a second? I'll second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell.
Aye.
Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Judge Felton.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under authorization of service agreement with GGA Pest Management for Road and Bridge, one, it's $135 a month. I make a motion we approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell.
Aye.
Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Judge Felton. Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under H7 is authorization of amendment to meal service agreement with Trinity Service Group at the Highway 6 Jail in Jack Harville. So I don't know if David or Major Armstrong will be talking about this.
And Judge, I know Major Armstrong wasn't going to be on this morning. I see David's unmuted, and if David doesn't cover it, I can.
Okay.
This is just the renewal for the contract with Trinity Services. They provide kitchen services based on a sliding scale for us in the past years. We've been happy with that. We would just like to renew it.
Judge, this does have a 3.1% increase based on the average consumer price index.
Okay. Okay, any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve H7A?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion, is there a second?
Second?
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell.
Aye.
Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Judge Felton.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under H9 is authorization of a cooperation agreement with Burnett County to house our inmates when necessary. The agreement is for $55 per day, and the term of the agreement is for 1 year. Any questions anyone have on that? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell. Commissioner Snell.
Aye.
Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Judge Felton.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under H10 is authorization and local cooperation agreement with the city of Waco on litter control service with the city landfill and law enforcement services.
And Judge, this is the annual agreement with the city where we provide 4 law enforcement positions to the city, and the city covers those costs. It provides 1 PUP officer and then 3 law enforcement officers who investigate illegal dump sites and illegal dumping within the city. And then the city does cover those costs.
Okay. All right. Any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve H10?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell.
Aye.
Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Judge Felton.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under H11 is authorization of preventative maintenance agreement with Emergency Power Services. This is maintenance at Precinct 1 Yard, Lorena Radio Tower, Hardtex Fairgrounds, and Radio Tower, and trailer mounted ball door. These details are in it. The per generator cost agreement is $514.65 for each visit, and then $1,029.30 annually. Any questions about that? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell.
Aye.
Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Judge Felton.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under H12 is authorization of agreement with Office of Court Administration. This is a reimbursement for long-distance calls and faxes. The terms go from September 1st of 20 to 8/31/21. Is there a motion to continue that reimbursement agreement?
Motion to approve.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell.
Aye.
Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Judge Felton.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under H13 is authorization interlocal cooperation agreement with City of Waco. This is to do with some road work. Zane?
Yes, sir, Judge. This is with the City of Waco. It's an interlocal agreement to chip seal 2.1 miles of roadway, being Old Steinbeck Bend Road, which is located between Steinbeck Bend Drive and East Lakeshore Drive, which is also known as FM 3051. The city will pay the county an amount totaling $42,000 for the work. It'll be a reimbursement type project.
Okay. Any questions on that? What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion
to approve the contract.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell.
Aye.
Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Judge Felton.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under H14 is authorization of revised amendment number 5 to the memorandum of understanding with the Texas Department of Public Safety for administrative support. Dustin?
And Judge, we'll need to defer this. We're still waiting on receiving the agreement back from DPS.
All right, is there a motion to defer?
Motion.
So moved.
A second, okay, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell.
Aye.
Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Judge Felton.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under H15 is authorization service agreement with Grande Communications Network LLC for the County Sheriff's Office. This is for 3 years. And it is with Grande for internet service of Sheriff's Office totaling $150. I'm assuming that's an annual cost.
Judge, that would be monthly. That is for a new service for their law enforcement purposes.
Yeah. Okay, is there any questions about that? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? I'll second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under H16, authorization agreement with the Corps in Maine on construction of the 2019 CDBG Elmont Water Improvement under Texas Grant Contract number 7219270. Ken?
It is my understanding TRC is working with Corps of Maine to create a contract, and we have not received anything back on that yet, so I'd like that to be deferred.
Okay, I'll move we defer. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion been made second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under H17, authorization of service agreement with Everify Incorporated on online training. Amanda?
Thank you, sir. This particular item on the agenda is related to the training that we provide new employees as they enter into our business. This provides them a safety orientation training that is required. It also provides them the opportunity to complete the sexual harassment prevention training and the diversity inclusion in the workplace training. We also typically recommend that every employee take a renewal of those particular training sessions every 2 years. We are behind this year in getting that implemented for this particular year and executed. The reason for that delay is they're making some system changes within Everify, and they're having to adjust us to a new platform within the Everify system. We're waiting for that to be complete so the training records can be associated with that new platform before we roll that out. We've had some additional issues with Everify. We've expressed our complaints regarding that. They're working to try and provide the service needs that we have for this product. Because they haven't been able to do that in the timeline originally projected, they have created a reduction for us with this particular annual renewal.
So I'm not sure, so are you asking to renew this or defer it till we get more information?
We are asking to renew this and allow for that cost reduction given their delay in services. If they cannot meet those services for this renewal period, we will be looking for another product to provide us future needs. They'll be able to provide our immediate needs for this year. There is some question as to whether they'll be able to provide the future needs.
Okay. All right, any questions about that? If not, what's the pleasure of the court?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? If not, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under H18, authorization employee assistance program, service agreement renewal with Deer Oak EAP Services. Amanda?
This particular benefit that we provide our employees is a really important resource that our employees have access to. It's a resource that the county has provided to employees to offer them services in the areas of legal assistance, financial consultation, identity recovery, which we know in this day and age seems to be more important, It allows for their ability to update or create a will and have that be a certified legal document. It provides additional convenience resources such as assisting families in finding child care or elderly care services needs. It provides, we have some employees in exit situations where they're no longer an employee. It assists them with resume building and interviewing preparation so they can work on transitioning and moving forward to other options. This provides counseling assistance as well and offers a cab fare reimbursement in the event of a need related to an impairment there. So this is a huge benefit provided to our employees. We recently had an employee who had a major life event occur where they ended up needing to utilize the legal assistance program of this service, the financial consultation of this service. They utilized the convenience resources as they found themselves in a situation where they did not have a home unexpectedly. And so the service was providing them resources to try and identify an alternate care living arrangement. So this is a really important benefit to assist our employees when they have life events that can create a lot of additional stressors on them. It provides resources and resolution to them so they can be able to focus on the work at hand that we need them to do. So we strongly encourage the court to allow us to continue to provide this service and renew this contract.
Do you know how many employees they have contact with, communicate with?
So our utilization this past year is 10% higher than the national average for these type of benefit services, which we think displays the county's utilization and need for this, the county employees' utilization and need for this service.
But you don't have a number?
I don't have a number. Again, we try to keep that confidential for our employees so that they feel like anytime they utilize this service, any of the services they're reaching out for protects their privacy.
Well, that doesn't have anything to do with privacy to have the total number. I think court would like to know how many touches they've got. At least I would.
So I have typically provided that, sir, independently in the past, rather than in this forum.
Well, it's not it's not a confidential number. If you're talking about an individual, how many times an individual contacts, yes, I'd understand that, but I'm trying to find out if we're getting our, how many of our employees are actually utilizing the service. I mean, there ought to be a number out there, and I don't see why that would be confidential.
So I do not have that number available at my disposal at this moment to provide to you.
Okay, thank you. And the cost is $1.56 per employee per month throughout the year.
Yes, and that cost will remain the same. That's what it was last year.
Okay. And then
And all employees are eligible, not just the health insurance.
Right.
Health plan members.
Is that a reimbursable amount, meaning that we don't pay that unless the employee receives that service? Is that how that works?
No, we are paying that amount per employee for the ability to have these services.
Okay.
Whether they use it or not.
Okay.
But my point is, I thought it'd be useful to the court to know what percentage of our employees are using it if we're gonna be paying.
I agree.
$1,500 a month, so. Okay, well, I'm sure it's a great service. I'm just trying to put some,
Remember too that this service provides emergency response assistance as far as counseling in the event that we have an employee who maybe has lost their life and the impact of that to the team, or if a catastrophic event has occurred that impacts a particular office or department. They have come in and provided those emergency services to assist us in making those transitions, and we have utilized that as well.
I just think it wouldn't, just to send an email out maybe indicating the usage of it. Don't necessarily have to hear it in this format, but I would like an email
Right.
showing, indicating what type of usage we're having.
I could see the value of it. I'm looking now, and we have as one of the services they provide wheel preparation. I'm wondering how many employees are aware of the full scope of services. I knew that they do counseling, and I have steered some employees that way. I'm not sure if they utilized it, but I'm not sure how many employees know the full scope of the services they provide. I was thinking it was reimbursable, meaning that we pay when we use it. But if we're paying up front just to have it there, it does help to know if we're using it.
Right. Okay, I think, Amanda, you hear the message, so, and I don't believe, that number is a confidential number. We're talking about a number for a cost. It doesn't have anything to do with a individual's utilization of it, so, but if you could get, court those numbers. We say it's up 10% from other, or we use it 10% more, I don't know what 10%. I need the other part of the number, so. Okay, is there,
Motion to approve the agreement with
Okay,
Bureau
thanks.
EAP Services.
all right, is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, any other discussion? No discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell. Commissioner Snell. Commissioner Snell.
He's having trouble getting it off mute, I think.
Okay.
Okay, just go ahead.
Okay. Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Judge Felton.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Commissioner Snell, if you can hear me and you approve that motion and that vote, just raise your hand. There you go. So registered as a vote.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. All right, going to item H19, authorization service agreement related to documents with WageWorks. Amanda?
Yes, sir. So the Commissioners Court made a decision to transition our administration of our COBRA benefit to United Healthcare. United Healthcare will be providing that administration beginning on January 1st. However, we've been advised by Hub International and also legal that we need to renew this agreement to ensure services between September 30th of 2020, through October 1st, 2020 through the end of the calendar year. And then we will provide notification of termination of those services when we can ensure that everything is operational for United Healthcare to transition that COBRA coverage. We don't want to have an absence of that coverage during this period of time. So again, this has been reviewed by legal. There is a termination clause within the contract that allows us to make that transition when the timing is appropriate, but we need to renew this agreement so that we can ensure those services continue until that transition takes place.
Okay, any questions? What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and second, any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell. Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Judge Felton.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under H2, authorization of renewal of extension agreement of professional service with Justice Benefits Incorporated. Justin,
Judge, this is an annual agreement with JBI. They help us with the SCAP grant, with some of our Title IV-E claims and with the Southwest Border Prosecution Initiative, and they are compensated anywhere from 15 to 21.5% of the total revenue paid to the county for their services.
Okay, any questions on that? What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. If y'all are all right, I'll keep going. Otherwise, I can recess for 5 minutes. I think we'll be done before long, but I can take it if y'all can.
Go.
Okay. I'll move as fast as I can. All right, under I's, Waco McLennan County Economic Development Corporation, nothing this week. Under J's, capital improvement, repair, maintenance. Under J1's regarding the Ritchie Road Improvement Project, recording of construction contract change, order number 4 from Big Creek Construction Ltd. Zane?
Yes, sir. This is change order number 4. It's kind of a culmination of all the little bitty changes that occurred throughout the project. It totals $36,826.40. And it's kind of a cleanup change order to get everything ready to close out the project. If everything goes according to plan, the project will be closed out probably in the next month or so. And county will receive back a portion of the contingency amount that was originally allotted for this project in the amount of, and we will receive back approximately $14,919.78. So I recommend approval of this change order.
Okay, any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve J1.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All right, welcome back, Commissioner.
Yeah, I had a little trouble getting my screen to come back on.
Well, even with modern technology, we can still do the old hand raise for a vote if we need to. Okay, you have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under K is real estate right of ways, nothing this week. Under L is grants and grants proposal. L1 is regarding the Texas Community Block Grant for water and sewer improvements in unincorporated community of Elmont, contract number 721270, authorization of certification of pre-construction approvals. The county is required to file certification of pre-construction approvals from the Texas Department of Agriculture. This form simply indicates that there is no construction approvals required for the water meter replacement. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the pre-construction approvals.
Second.
Motion made and second. No other discussion, call for vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under M is department office specific request. Under M1's county sheriff. Under M1A is authorization request for purchase duty weapon upon retirement of peace officer. This is allowed under government code 614.051. And the estimated value is $325, where the officer that's retiring, Kenneth Hoot, would be allowed to buy that weapon. Is there a motion to approve that?
So moved.
To approve.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry?
Aye.
Pass. Under M1B is authorization of equipment trade-in request. This is allowed under Government Code 263.152A. This is a budget amendment for the purchase of a scan tool for the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office is requesting authorization to trade in their current model for $1,000. Is there any questions about that? If not, is there a motion to approve? I'll move. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell?
Aye.
Commissioner Miller?
Aye.
Judge Felton?
Aye.
Commissioner Jones?
Aye.
Commissioner Perry?
Aye.
Pass. Under M2's juvenile detention, authorization of order declaring certain property as not meeting the criteria for salvage or surplus and authorizing disposal of said water property. This has to do with bulletproof vest. The juvenile department is requesting disposal of 8 bulletproof vests. Any questions about that? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Go ahead.
Second.
I made the motion, you second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell?
Aye.
Commissioner Miller?
Aye.
Judge Felton?
Aye.
Commissioner Jones?
Aye.
Commissioner Perry?
Aye.
Pass. Under N is additional item discussion of potential action. Under N1's discussion or action matters regarding the COVID-19 situation. So Elizabeth, I apologize if you're still on about not bringing you in earlier on this, but if you're available, do you have any updates?
Of course. So I'll go through yesterday's numbers, just make sure everyone is up to speed, and then we'll talk about some of our upcoming testing sites.
Okay.
As of yesterday, we had 54 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the total number of cases to date to 7,188. There are 485 estimated active cases and 6,612 estimated cases of recovered. There are 38 cases that are hospitalized. 29 of those are McLennan County residents. 6 of them are on ventilators, and there have been a total of 91 deaths in McLennan County. And if you give me 1 second. Starting this week and then for the next couple weeks, we are bringing back our COVID-19 testing. That is going to be that cheek swab test that we do. That is a free test. Starting tomorrow and the 16th and 17th, we'll be doing a drive-through testing at Tolliver Chapel Missionary Baptist Church. We're really excited to go back. Some of these sites that we have chosen are ones that have been really successful, and we want to make sure we give the community another opportunity. Registration for that is open September 24th through the 26th. We are doing a walk-up testing at the Waco Multipurpose Facility. No registration is required for that. And then on October 2nd, we are going to do testing at Fire Station number 5 on Bagby. That is a drive-through site. Registration will open 24 hours, so it'll open on October 1st. And then we are still looking to plan some more testing sites, but those are our upcoming ones right now.
Okay, thank you. So I would say to the court, if you have any employees that want to go to a free testing site, this is the cheek swab. It's not as, I guess it's not as painful or as the other one, deep nasal swab. So utilize it if you need it.
What's the turnaround?
Most of them have been about between 24 to 72 hours is what we are telling people. So I know most people have gotten their results about 48 hours is about kind of the standard that we are telling people. It's a very quick turnaround.
Any other questions?
Yeah, you said it's free, but who's actually funding that? Who's paying for that?
So that is the state of Texas who's paying for that. So we coordinate with them and they come down and bring the testing for us.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, Thank you, Elizabeth.
Of course.
Dustin, is there anything else to come under that item?
Judge, the one thing, we've learned that the city has contracted with BKD to help them kind of navigate the CARES Act funding and the reimbursement process. So we wanted just to make the court aware of that and to see if the court had any interest. We could likely enter into an interlocal agreement with the city of Waco to kind of authorize BKD to work on our behalf as well. Or it's also consulting services. It might fit under one of the discretionary exemptions for the Commissioner's Court. Looks like BKD is charging just kind of a rate based on the city of Waco's allocation under CARES Act funding. I believe they received around $9 million. It looks like BKD's total cost to the city is going to be around $150,000. It's on a scale that could slide a little bit depending on how much funds are drawn down. We received about a quarter of what the city of Waco received. So just going off that, don't know what our fee would be. We've not reached out to BKD, just wanted to bring that to the court's awareness and see if the court would like us to follow up with them.
Dustin, would we have any idea of knowing what our recapture could be?
No, I don't know if there's things that they could help us find that we're not, thinking of or aware of right now. I do know that our, right now, or I'd say a couple weeks ago, and Francis can kind of correct me, I think we'd had around 1.1 million in expenditures, and roughly half of that was actually going to be eligible to be reimbursed under the CARES Act. And then we ran into the issue of the 75-25 split. And so that greatly cut down on what our actual reimbursement would be. I do know that through the CARES Act, they will allow up to 5% of your total grant award for consulting services or grant administration services. So those funds would be able to be reimbursed through the CARES Act. But no, sir, not sure what our total reimbursement could be.
Well, and I think if we did bring BKD or some consultant in, they could tell us that, where actually our cost, we would end up getting help with not any out-of-pocket cost. But we need to understand that.
Right, I just don't want to enter into a contract and
Yeah. Oh, I
go
know.
through the process and then we find out we
Yeah.
just broke even.
Yeah. No, that's, I agree with you. And so if, I guess,
Well, you have a set amount that that we've been allocated. It's a matter of just documentation and things like that.
And it may take, to get up to our full amount, it may take creating some programs to be able to, to access all those funds, because we may not hit that $2 million mark with the 75-25 split. So
it's a pretty complex deal, and it's subject to audit afterwards too. And so that was the reason the city and many others have used a firm like BKD, which is a big national firm that has resources in place to do those. So it doesn't cost us anything to get a look at it. And so I'd recommend that to the court. Anything else, Dustin?
no, sir.
Okay, moving to item N2 regarding the McLennan County Group Health Plan discussion or action regarding the health benefit plan changes and updates. Amanda?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So what we are requesting is the ability to make a change to our dental plan with regard to the way that employees enroll in that plan. We are wanting to make it streamlined to what the structure is for the health plan and what the structure is for the vision plan. So with the health and vision plan, we have the options for employee-only coverage, employee plus spouse coverage, employee plus children coverage, and employee plus family coverage. These are the standard tiers that are used in the industry for health plan products, dental plan products, and vision plan products. And we are wanting to streamline all of those products to have the same tiered options and platform. So in making that change, it does create a slight adjustment to the premium costs for both a base plan and an enhanced plan option for our benefit package with the dental plan. And so we're needing the court to A, approve these tiers, and B, approve these plan rates. And the reason why there was a change in the plan rates is we had HUB do another analysis of our health plan fund based on enrollment numbers per these categories. And when they do those mathematical numbers, these are the recommended rates that they are suggesting for the premium cost.
Any questions? What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve the dental plan changes.
Second. Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell. Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Judge Felton.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Thank you. Under N3, City of Waco, update on small business, well, we've done that one. Under N4, authorization of Fifth Amendment Industrial Development Grant Program. Dustin?
Judge, if we could defer at this time, we're still working on it and plan to bring it back on September 29th.
Okay, is there a motion to defer N4?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell.
Aye.
Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Judge Felton.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under N5, this is authorization of amendment to the McLennan County pauper cremation policy. Heather?
Yes, sir. So upon review of the current policy, it's the request today that a revision of the language in the McLennan County pauper cremation policy as it relates to section 1.11 disinterment be amended. This new language was drafted by Mike Dixon. He and Dustin and I have been working on this. This new language will provide for reimbursement for the original cost of the burial, protection for the county by utilizing the county's contracted funeral home to oversee the disinterment. It also offers protection from potentially non-insured grave diggers for the disinterment. And lastly, it reinforces and utilizes language pertaining to the state kind of compliance guidelines.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any questions anyone have? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell.
Aye.
Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Judge Felton.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
Under N7's approval order renaming the private road known as Caudill Drive to Magnolia Drive and eliminating the private drive road name of Borman Lane. This is in precinct 3. Zane?
Yes, sir. So we've had a request by the landowner, and they're the only landowner on this lane, to rename the Caudill Drive to Magnolia Drive. And we've run this through McLennan County 911, and they're okay with it, so we recommend approval.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell. Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
Judge Felton.
Aye.
Commissioner Jones.
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under N8, approval of order requiring application for subchapter F, chapter 233 of the Texas Local Government Code to new residential construction in unincorporated McLennan County. Zane?
Yes, sir. The law recently changed that requires people building homes in the county to now not only give us notice of construction, but when they do their inspections for foundation, framing, and mechanical systems, as well as final inspection, those inspections have to pass. And so we're recommending amending our order to include that those inspections have to pass.
And those inspections, what's the criteria on those inspections? Are they some standard that's out there?
A licensed qualified person in that area field has to basically write their name and on a piece of paper saying that they've inspected it and it meets the building code.
Or we're not going to,
We would not give a building permit. We would not give a permit.
And this prevents them from like building in floodplains and dangerous wiring and things like that?
That's
primarily?
correct. It's a public safety issue, so that if future owners of that home have a problem, they can come to the county and we can tell them who the contractor was that built the home, and also who inspected the foundation, the framing, mechanical systems, and whether or not it passed.
So inspectors have to be certified, of course,
Yes, sir.
under some state designation.
Yes, sir. The local government code provides their qualifications.
And because this is a Texas local government code that's approved, there doesn't need to be hearings in counties for this?
Correct.
Okay, anybody have any questions on this? Do y'all think you'll get any feedback from your folks? But it doesn't sound like you got a lot of options. I mean, it sounds
At
like.
the end of the day, I think it's probably keeps people like me from going out and building a house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's
well,
probably some,
I mean,
some
that's,
credibility to it.
I mean, are we requiring building permits? Is that the,
Yes.
is that what we're doing? Or
So
just
the
ins-
Texas local government code, our current order requires them to give us notice, number one, that they're building. And then they have to have the slab, the framing and mechanical inspected. But the current order and the way the law used to be written is it just had to be inspected. It didn't have to pass inspections. The house could be falling down, but it was inspected. Now, the law has been changed that it has to not only be inspected, it's got to pass inspections. It just gives one more layer of insurance, if you will, to the next homeowner or that homeowner, for that matter.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay,
Have
what's
we
the pleasure?
consulted with legal with Mike Dixon on this?
Yes, we have.
I mean, this is something that Mike, I can promise you supports, because he talks about it all the time, about the
Well, I
problem.
mean, I know we have problems. I'm just, and mainly with people building in floodplains.
Yeah.
Right, so we already have an order, and we just we're amending this order to be current with current state law. And Mike reviewed the language to make sure it was proper. And so that's what we're bringing before the court today.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay,
On the notice, failure to provide the notice before commencement of construction, where it says that it could be subject to a criminal offense, misdemeanor if the person didn't do it. Is that likely to happen? Has that happened much? How strong is that provision where we're telling people that that's a penalty?
In all actuality, it's a possibility that we could go after enforcement. In the past, we've not been as strong in that area to go after enforcement.
I guess, are we prepared to enforce?
So it would go to civil courts, and whether or not the judge and the DA, the district attorney and the civil court judge would, take it further, then that would be in the legal system at that point.
I agree that we need to have something in place so that we have quality construction out there in the unincorporated areas. I know a lot of people move out to the countryside, so they don't have to get bogged down with a lot of city requirements. I'm just hoping that this is a happy medium. I just wouldn't want to be putting burdens on people for the reason they move away from the city, but I do want to keep them safe.
Right. So, like I said, we've already have an order, and the order says that they've got to give us notice that they're going to build new construction, and that they have to get it inspected. The law recently changed, saying that those inspections now have to pass inspections, and we're just amending our order to be current with current law.
I live in the country, and there are a lot of nice homes that people built out there, but the countryside is strewn with junk, lean-tos, things they drag up, and it's, it distracts from what the country's supposed to look like. And I'd support this.
Well, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you have to have an inspection, but we don't care if it passes or fails.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Makes no sense. Why waste your time? All
Well,
right.
if Mike's good with it, I'm good with it.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? I'll
Second.
second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell, Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under N9, discussion or action deferring payroll tax obligations. This has to do with the presidential order or executive order to defer payroll tax obligations. And I think the information that we were waiting for was to find out in the new, possibly in the new stimulus program, for lack of a better term, similar to the CARES Act, that there would be language in there that forgave that obligation, so those people that deferred that tax would not have to pay it back. And so we don't have that information yet. So I'd recommend to the court that we defer this until we find out more about it. That anybody?
Motion to defer.
I just,
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, I don't think we're gonna find out anything till after November, so.
Yeah, probably not. Okay, we have a motion and a second to defer. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell, Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under N10, discussion or action on extending the COVID-19 state disaster and public health emergency declaration through October 31st of 2020. Dustin?
And Judge, this is what we've been doing. It's going to extend it through October 31st, 2020, as you said, and this will match what the city of Waco will be doing as well.
Yeah. Okay, any questions about that? Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under N11 is authorization of order accepting donations for specialty court programs. This is for their drug and alcohol education programs, and they have graduations and those things, and these at no cost to to the county, to approve these donations from various places to eat, where they give gift cards and those things. So it's something we've been doing for a while. And I'd make a motion that we approve N11. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under N13's authorization amendment to McLennan County Employee Policy Guide, Section 7.05, Sheriff's Office Structured Step Plan, Pay Plan. Amanda?
Yes, sir. This is a revision we make to the employee policy guide every year. It requires an annual update. The update to this step pay is based on the COLA that gets approved by a commissioner's court during the budgetary discussions and the adoption of the budget. So this is just ensuring that we make that update to this particular section of the policy that outlines step pay. This is in compliance and per the standard that we have done for this particular policy since it was adopted.
Okay, are there any questions about that? What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under O, Americans with Disability Compliance Project, under O1's authorization of professional service for CPNY, they've done a ADA study for us. Their invoice billing through August is $2,316. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other comments, questions? If not, is there a call for a vote?
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under P's McLennan County Venue Project, we have nothing this week. Under Q is McLennan County Radio Tower, we have nothing. Under supplemental agreement, I think we've got all, actually, we, under item C, under budget amendments, under C1B, this is transferred from general fund to contingency, $1,000 for language interpretation cost. It's $1,000. Is there a motion to approve? I'll move. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under R is work session items. I don't have anything unless somebody else from the court has any items they want to bring up. If not, Dustin, is that clean up the agenda, Reagan?
I believe that is everything.
Okay. All right. This is the first time we've gone this long without a break. Probably is why my eyes are watering. If there's not anything else but come before the court, we stand adjourned.